Hey YouTube, it's EvanMagician34, and I've got one of many possible spins on like a Chaos Twilighty sort of thing. Those two terms are almost interchangeable, really. This is Summoner Chaos, and the reason I call it that is because I'm taking advantage of Summoner Monk being at 2. In case you hadn't realized from my last couple of videos, I don't have Tour Guide of the Underworld. It could have something to do with the fact that the card is, at the time I made this video, booking for about $160 or so. That's $160 a piece, US. Which is obviously quite a lot of money, and more than some of us can afford just to get one card, sadly. So, for now, Tour Guide's kind of not in my deck for that reason. But Summoner Monk can do a lot of the same stuff, especially the turn 1 kind of thing, where he can instantly set you up for Chaos. I'm running 2 copies of Lila, Lightsworn Sorceress. She can be a good target for him later in the game, too, just to pop stuff or force them to negate and stuff like that. If they don't negate his effect. Otherwise, you can just drop her out, you can use her to mill, or you can just go ahead and Ixies, and that can be a great way to eventually get them in the grave one way or another too. But also Lila's just a good first turn summon. The main way to make instant chaos off of Summoner Monk is Hypersynchron. He's just a 4-star tuner who happens to be light attribute, which is the key thing. So obviously you go Summoner, pitch your spell, get Hypersynchron, and Sync. Now, Hypersynchron will remove from play any dragon that you Synchro summon with him. Even though he'll give it an 800-point bonus, which can be relevant late game to make a big push to run over, well, virtually anything. Because 800 points on any 8-star dragon is pretty much enough power to run anything over. It can be especially good with Scrap Dragon hitting for 36, plus you probably kill their monster. Well, basically he's Chaos fodder, and if he makes something like Thought Ruler or Colossal Fighter, it won't get removed. More in the 4-star area, Reborn Tengu. He can also be a pretty impressive target to go get with, or as a target to get via Summoner Monk, to get your Tengu chain going and set you up for your Avarice if it happens to be in your hand or whatnot. He's just a good first turn summon as well. We're going to go ahead and get this one out of the way. Blackluster Soldier, Envoy at the beginning, because he's awesome. If you don't know what he does, I really suggest you look him up. 2 copies of Chaos Sorcerer to back him up, because we can get Light in the Dark in the grave pretty rapidly, and even after this guy removes, he can still be used as Synchro fodder pretty easily because he's level 6. So that can kind of keep your push going in that same turn. We're running 2 copies of Card Trooper. He keeps the cards going, he's a good early summon, he mills 3, etc. And he can be good to bring back via Call of the Haunted, which we do run. Speaking of Call of the Haunted, Sangan, one of the probably most abused cards this format already, even though it's just barely started. Searches for all kinds of stuff, but mainly Effect Veiler. And speaking of cards that are going to be abused this format, we're running 2 copies of Effect Veiler. He pitches himself to the grave, not only shuts down one of your opponent's key effects, key plays, but at the same time he also sets you up for your own chaos stuff. Definitely 2 on that one. We're running Glow Up Bulb for all the obvious reasons, likes to be milled, can be searched, etc. Makes syncing really easy. We're running Gale the Whirlwind because it enables you to run over all kinds of stuff. And since his effect is permanent, he can even take down stuff like BLS in the long run, because even though he can't kill BLS straight up when he has him, a 1500-point BLS won't last for long, and the double attack isn't as painful. He's also creates some interesting sinking options. Running 2 copies of Kai's Shadow Monarch. He's interesting with Glow Up Bulb. The removal's good, and a lot of times people just don't expect him right now, so you can actually get them to fire the Veiler on something else, and then later in the game summon Kais, who they probably would have wanted to have veiled instead, had they known that you had it. And this guy does represent 3,400 points of damage sometimes, which is a key chunk. That's nearly half. I'm teching and trying out this card, Sorcier de Fleur. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily the best thing for the deck in the long run, and it may get pulled. But you're milling more often than you're drawing a lot of the time, so she's easy to get into the grave. And her effect is awesome, considering you can use calls and Monster Reborn to bring her back. And you could normal summon her in theory. If you don't know what she does, look her up. She's awesome. Gorz, the Emissary of Darkness. Pretty obvious. He's a great dark descent to the grave. Keeps you alive. Monster Reborn. I think we all know what that one does. Dark Hole. Mind Control, because anything that runs a decent number of tuners really ought to have Mind Control. Book of Moon. Stops lots of big summons and big swings, like Sinking and Ixiesing. Pot of Avarice, because we put lots of stuff in the grave and we want to reuse it. Heavy Storm. And we're running 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. The reason we're running 3 is largely Summoner Monk, but you can also, of course, just use them to destroy stuff straight up, and that's perfectly good too. And we're running 2 copies of Creature Swap. There are plenty of creatures in this deck that you wouldn't mind donating to your opponent and switching for something big that they might have on the field. I mean, there's Sangan, Card Trooper, Summoner Monk, or what Summoner Monk just got, Reborn Tengu, all kinds of stuff, Glow Up Bulb. All lots of good ways to take advantage of your opponent's stuff. And of course you can also feed creatures swap to the monk. Solemn Judgment, because it stops everything. We're going ahead and running 2 Call of the Haunted. This can be used in many, many different ways in the deck. I'll let you use your imagination, lots of stuff to get. And if they MST it after the turn you set it, you can always just chain it to bring back your Sangan or your Card Trooper and get the card off of that. We're running Return from the Different Dimension because there's plenty of removal. Your opponent's going to be removing stuff. You're going to be removing stuff. This can be a great way to swing for game. And we're also running one of the best removal cards of the format, ×3, Compulsory Evacuation Device. Answers almost everything. And our extra deck right quick, Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Stardust Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend, Scrap Dragon, Colossal Fighter, Thought Ruler Archfiend, Dark End Dragon, Summoner Monk makes this guy really easily, Black Rose Dragon, Lightning Warrior, mainly because he's light. There are alternatives. You can run over him if you want, but I like him that way. We're running Ancient Sacred Wyvern. This is Chaos Sorcerer plus your Effect Veiler, basically. Bryanak, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth. You can run Orient Dragon over him if you want. It's kind of a personal taste thing. I like the 2600 point stick myself. TG Hyper Librarian. Ally of Justice Catastor. And number 39 Utopia. You can run Roach over him, but I like his superior attack and the fact that he's light helps keep your chaos stuff going. So, anyway, that's the deck, and until next time, rate, comment, subscribe, and check out my channel for more cool videos.